Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing two completely different physiques, Neckzilla versus Andrew Jacked. Both of these guys have polar opposite, attributes, which I feel will make this comparison a unique one and an interesting one as well. Moreover, I want to see how well Rubio will stack up against the 5th best bodybuilder in the world, and see if he could potentially threaten the top 5. Now, before the video does start, if you guys like my videos, a like and sub would be much appreciated as we are so close to 10K. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Alright, here's the first pose, the front double, and in this shot you can see what I was talking about when I said two completely different physiques. Rubio presents sheer mass everywhere, whereas Andrew shows much better shape lines and symmetry. Starting with the arms, Andrew definitely has a better set of biceps and triceps, as they are more shapely. However, Rubio has him beat in the forearms. Rubio does need to bring his arms into proportion with the rest of his body though, as they look rather lackluster only in the front double in my opinion. Moving down to the torsos, Andrew again handily wins this area. His lats, midsection, and overall conditioning are far superior than Rubio's. Rubio does battle back hard with some extremely dominant quads. However, Andrew has some very nicely separated ones of his own. Personally, I think this one is an easy win for Andrew, as he has cleaner lines, better separation, and way better aesthetics and proportions. The front lat spread is another dominant shot for Andrew. His superior structure and immense detail in his frontal shots carries him in this pose. Just take a look at that midsection, the chest and shoulders, and his arms and quads. They all flow together so fluidly. Rubio has all the mass and a great set of lats. However, he looks way less aesthetic and doesn't have nearly the same condition nor the proportions of Andrew. That being said, for all the mass that he does carry, he hits a rather impressive front lat spread. I really do think he needs larger arms and wider lats though to really create the necessary proportions to battle it out against a guy like Andrew Jacked. Here's the side chest, and in the side shots is definitely where Rubio can make up some much needed ground. His side leg is one of the best I've seen recently, and this is definitely an area where Andrew is still struggling to show size in. Rubio exposes this lack of size and has a very comparable bubbly upper body that does not look, nearly as out of proportion from the side as it did from the front. Both have large arms, great shoulders, and bubbly chests. However, Rubio appears to be thicker from the side overall, while Andrew presents better conditioning in the chest, arms, and delts. Honestly, guys, I think this is a killer shot for Rubio, as his thickness and size is overwhelming in a pose where aesthetics aren't necessarily key. He has a much better side leg and has an equally as impressive, if not more impressive, upper half. Moving into the back poses, we have the rear double, and this pose is definitely a close one. Andrew has better arms in terms of shape and size, while Rubio has better legs in terms of shape and conditioning. The backs are very comparable between the two. However, it seems like Andrew has larger, more defined traps, while Rubio has some better shoulders and lats. Although it seems close, Rubio has a much better lower body, showing way more size and definition in the hamstrings and the overall quad sweep. The disparity between the arms for both is much smaller than the one between the legs, so since the backs are rather even, this would leave Rubio in a slightly more advantageous position. I personally prefer Andrew's aesthetics, however, there is no denying the fact that Rubio outmuscles Andrew in the legs and has a very comparable upper body. The rear lat spread is a similar story as the last pose, as Rubio once again dominates the lower body. The difference here is that I feel like Andrew has a better back now, since those larger, more defined traps we saw in the rear double really stand out, and they pop out much more than Rubio's. The lower backs look to be about the same, however, Andrew has a bit more thickness in those lats, which does put him slightly over the edge for the win in the upper body. So this pose really ends up being an upper versus lower body battle. Now, the difference in dominance in the upper body is much less than the difference in the lower one, as Rubio smokes Andrew in the legs while Andrew barely beats Rubio upstairs. So I think Rubio would also win the rear lat spread. The side tricep is an interesting pose since Andrew hits it in a way that is not favored by the judges. If we go based on that notion, Andrew should already start out with a disadvantage compared to Rubio, who hits this pose perfectly. I will say that this variation of the side tricep that Andrew hits does look phenomenal, as he hides his weaker side leg in favor of showing his perfectly strided quad. Neither guy shows, any really big flaw in this pose, but like I said, the judges would probably deduct points from Andrew due to this variation, which doesn't showcase the actual side leg of the body, which is, the whole purpose of the side tricep, along with showing the good tricep from the side. However, let me know down below, guys, which physique would you have winning this shot? Here's the Aban Thigh, and now that we are back to the front shots, Andrew really shines once again. He has the best Aban Thigh of all time in my opinion, as he has perfectly symmetrical abs, a great V-taper, well-developed and separated quads, and aesthetic for days. Although there is no chance Rubio would win this pose against Andrew, he does have much freakier quads, albeit with way less separation compared to Andrew, a rather good set of well-pronounced abs, and a decent V-taper considering his rather blocky midsection. His wide midsection does throw off the pose though, and I think that changing up his posing can help him hide it more effectively, but overall, Andrew would definitely win this pose. Okay, here's the last pose, the most muscular, and in this one, both are hitting different variations that highlight their individual strengths. Rubio looks insane with huge arms, a thick chest, large traps, and great quads, but lacks the separation that Andrew has for days. I mean, Andrew's crazy separated. Now, speaking of Andrew, he has that paper-thin skin on his entire frontal half, and great roundness throughout his arms, chest, and delts. Compared to Rubio, he doesn't have the same density, however, everything flows extremely well, and he looks very balanced. Because of this, coupled with his conditioning advantage, I'd probably give this last pose to Andrew as he does look phenomenal. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. Although I'd say that on stage Andrew would most likely win, I think that Rubio could definitely push him hard. His size and freakiness wouldn't look out of place within the top 10 at the Olympia, and with better conditioning, I could definitely see him in that second call-out rather easily. His only real weakness are his arms, I guess, and his odd proportions. However, if he can bring up his upper body, he will really look good with his already great structure. Anyways, that about does it for this video. Let me know down below what you guys think of this comparison, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.